Hello. This video is about some Charlton romance comics that I picked up this last month, and I was never really into them that much until the last year or two, and I've discovered there's some fairly interesting artists and aspects to them. So I'm dedicating this video to Charlton romance. This is one of my earliest ones. Sue and Sally Smith, Flying Nurses. It's got art by Dick Giordano, and he also did the cover. This is Just Married, number 54 from 1967. It's also got a Dick Giordano cover. And this is Secrets of Young Brides from 1964. It's also got a Dick Giordano cover. From 1972, this is Sweethearts, number 129. It's got a cover by Gustavo, Trigo. And this is Love Diary, number 71 from 1971. I'm not sure who did the cover of this. This is an interesting book, Secret Romance, from 1975. It's got a cover by Demetrio Sánchez Garcia, and there's also a story by him inside. This is Art Capello, who's semi-interesting. He's not bad. That's Avala. But this is Demetrio Sánchez Garcia. As you can see, his art's kind of interesting. Illustrative. Well, here's a signature. Demetrio. Just gonna show you his artwork really quick. I'm not gonna go into the story too much. And I always have these fun ads for photographs. I dig his artwork. I like the little little decorations in the background. Alex Toth did a lot of that in his DC work. To be careful, these things are fragile. And they go from the party, the kiss. How about a little scuba diving? That was not unusual in a Charlton comic. A little more kissing. And they fly off to live happily ever after. The end. This is an interesting issue. I Love You from 1975. It's an Art Capello cover. Capello, I'm sorry. I was get his name wrong. This first story is by Enrico Neito, who I think is really a cool artist. I like, his little flourishes here. Charlton didn't pay a whole lot, so the artists had to move fast when they were working on them. I like the kind of psychedelic effects here. The birds in the cages, so cool. And of course they make it out to the beach. A little kissing, a little background there. That's awesome. That's Enrico Neito. Can't have a romance book without a few tears. And I just really dig the decorations that he uses. This is another story by Demetrio Sánchez Gómez. I kind of dig his work. A lot of work goes into that hair. That's kind of the way I spot his work. Speaking of hair, get yourself a nice wig for $6.99. Stretch wig. I like the cool clothing from the time. This is 1975. It'll put me in high school during these times. Uh-oh, things are getting dark. That guy's up for no good. So there has to be the little savior scene. Oh no, you're so strong. All right, at the end with the big kiss. And finally in this issue is an Art Capello story. He's very simple, but he's a good storyteller, I think. Don't want to go into too much detail. You can kind of make out what's going on. You don't have to read the words too much. He kind of lays it out. A little office problem there. It was a different time. A lot of romance in the office. Oh, God. I don't know. I just like his artwork. These Charlton books just seem more interesting than the Marvels. Certainly the Marvels of the time. I mean, no knock on John Buscema or John Romita, but these just seem to be more spontaneous and interesting. This issue of Teen Confessions from 1974, or 3 or 4. It's got an Art Capello cover. Here's a typical Nicholas Ink by Alicea cover, or story. The girl next door trying to get this square to go to the beach with her, but he kind of blows her off. She's real popular, even though she wears glasses. And but she can't stop thinking about the nerd who blew her off. So she kind of tricks him into kissing her. And she's kind of bothered that she had to trick him. That she had to figure out a way to get her to kiss him again, which would make him think it's his idea. Oh man, the plotting that those women go through. So she decides to go to meet him at the library. And so she says, I have a history of paper to do. So he's trying to help her out. And she's like, I can't concentrate. And he's like, oh, I can't concentrate either. And so they live happily ever after. Not bad, but, not that inspiring either. This is a Susan Day pinup by Tony Tallarico. So cool. This story is an early work by Joe Staton. Someday I'll find you. This girl just turned 17. She's kind of a sexy little girl, and she's there in Alaska with her parents and this older friend, and she wishes that she were 5 years older because she thinks he's pretty cool. But her parents let her go sailing with them. It really seems like kind of a creepy story, but you know, these days you know where it would go. But no, he's a gentleman. Even though she's really hot for him, he just kind of holds her off. And then she's bored, and he says, well, there's a rock band playing at the cave down by the beach. And her parents go, oh, we don't want to go that. You can take her. So they go, and they're listening to this rock band, and the young guy comes up and asks her to dance. And so she goes to dance with him. And he takes her outside and makes a move on her. And the guy, I forget his name, Mr. Johnson or something, he comes out, chases the guy away. And then from then on, they go scuba diving. A lot of diving in these Charlton comics. And she fakes like she's in trouble. And he grabs her and takes her out. And he's like, oh, I know how to wake her up. Fistful of seaweed in her face. That'll do it. Oh, no. He says, well, it's too bad you're so young. I'm grown up and you know it. Not quite, Naomi. Hope we meet again when you're older. So finally they have to say goodbye. And she kisses him goodbye. And the next day he's gone and she's all shook up. But he left her a note saying, well, I have to go to Turkey, but when I'll be back in 5 years, and if you still like me, maybe we can get together. That's nice work by Joe Staton. Now, this book is by Leo Duranona. Scratch and Claws. I'll just go through the art here really quick. The girl's a folk singer, and everyone wants to party with her, but she's just like, she wants to be on her own. So she has them drop her off at a hotel, and she's like, oh, your accountant's here. Oh, okay, I've been waiting for him. She gets to her room. Hey, you're not my accountant. She says, oh, he's my uncle, and he's really sick in the hospital. And she's like, oh, you're trying to trick me. She kicks him out, and then she changes her mind and runs down and says, hey, wait a minute. So they get together, and she decides he's not half bad. Her name is Scratch that she goes by, and his name is Claws. And she says, hey, Scratch and Claws, we're like a circus act. So she takes her on a picnic, and they have some fun. And then on the way back, she goes, oh, we've got to get back in time for your concert. So they're driving. I haven't got to the picnic yet. Got ahead of myself there. It's kind of a nice decorative stuff. Remember, these guys are only getting like about $15 a page. So some of this work is pretty impressive if you think in those terms. So he makes a move on her, and she makes a move on him. And they go waiting. And then it's time to get back to the concert. So they go past the merry-go-round. And she's like, oh, I need to get on a merry-go-round. Never been on one before. He's like, okay, just one ride. So he tells her, go for the brass wing. And he says, oh man, next time we'll make it a diamond one. Oh, and some of her fans see her, and she's with the square, so they're gonna shake him up. But nope, he does the savior routine, and she tells him her real name. Isn't it a gas? Next we have Teenage Love number 93 from 1973 with a cover by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. And there's also a story. It was a thing with Charlton they would have a cover, and then the inside would be, usually the last story would be by the same artist, and it would have the same splash page. I guess they only had to pay him to draw it once and use it twice. Never Forget Me, but Johnny Love. This guy, Johnny Love, runs into this girl at the beach, and he's driving away in his motorcycle, and she almost runs him over. And he's like, oh, who's that guy? I'm going to find out. Later, he crashes. He goes, oh, I got to pull that guy out. Hey, it's a chick. She's like, oh, you got to help me. These guys are after me. Okay, well, I got to get my purse. Oh, no. So he grabs her purse, and the car blows up. So let's get out of here. These guys are trying to kill me. So they took off down this road. They're in Mexico, and they're heading for the border. And the road's out, and these guys are chasing him. So he takes off down the bumpy road where the car can't follow him, and they're shooting at him. It's like, oh, shit. So she goes, oh, I'm hungry. Can you get me something to eat? And he says, oh, I'll see what they got here. So she's messing with his motorcycle. Oh, he's getting the food. And he's like, she's up to something. So they get on a motorcycle and they head for the border. They get across, and there's somebody waiting for them. Oh, and they chase them, and they tell them to pull over. So he like brakes, and the car goes past him, and he cuts behind him and goes off into the desert. So she's like, oh, well, we'll get away now. And he's like, no, we better call the cops. They're trying to kill us. So the girl doesn't want to see the cops, but he's like, well, I don't know why they were trying to kill me, but look at my gas tank. She stuck something in there. And it turns out she was smuggling diamonds. And so uncharacteristically, they let him go and arrest the girl. Yes, sir. It sure was. The next artist I want to talk about is Luis Avala. He did this cover, I'll Be a Modern Wife. And again, it's the splash page. I'll just go through the art real fast. I'm not going to talk too much about the story. You can kind of figure out modern wife. Oh, no. I guess they got these Spanish or Mexican artists. I don't know where they come from, but I think their art is really interesting. Again, for the rates they were working at, I guess that was decent money for some people back in those days, in the 70s. But it was really not a lot that they were getting paid. And they really put some work into these pages. And what's going to happen? Is there going to be a kiss at the end? Of course, it's a Charlton romance. There's got to be a kiss at the end. This is the last book I'm going to go into in detail. It's got a cover by Nestor Oliveira. I'm not that familiar with his work. And this is by a guy who signs his work, Ennio, The Defiant Ones. Seems to be a pretty decent artist. At this time, Charlton didn't really give that many credits, but sometimes the artists would sneak their signature in there. I don't know, I kind of dig this guy's work. Ennio, seems like Langasino or something like that. Sorry for this erratic camera work. I'm no pro, that's for sure. But I hope you're getting an idea of why I enjoy these books so much. Most of these stories are written by Joe Gill, who was a very prolific writer for Charlton. And uncharacteristically, this doesn't end up with a kiss, but with tears. And her father with his pipe saying, "Tut, tut." I got all these books in the last few months, I guess since January, in about 3 different lots. This is Luis Avala. This next cover is awesome, by Luis Nito. Isn't that great? And I managed to pick these up for about just a little under $4 each, all in, counting tax and shipping. That's Art Capello. More Art Capello. This one I picked up at a comic shop. I paid $10 for it. Phew. That's why I turned to eBay on these lots. Hollywood Romances, Empty Kisses from the Heart. That's by Don Sherwood, I think. No idea who did that cover. 1969. This is Love Diary from 1975 with an Art Capello cover. Teen Confession, also from 1975 with a Frank Boyle cover. Teen Confessions from 1974. That's, I forget that guy's name. And from 1975, this is For Lovers Only, an Art Capello cover. And finally, this is A Secret Romance. This one I picked up at a comic shop for $1.50. So I guess that balances out. It's a little bit beat up. It's an Art Capello cover. Well, that's my little trip down Charlton Romance Comics. If you enjoyed it, like it, give me a follow and subscribe. So I'll see you next time. As an addendum, I just got this package in the mail. This is Love Diary. These are earlier ones from the 60s, I think. Got Teen Confessions. Romantic Story. Teenage Love, and Just Married. Fun stuff. I'd love to hear your comments, and have a good one.